it's your girl Janice back with another video. I want to start by saying, when I first came back, I said I was like doing like a rebrand, like I wanted to be more of a vlogger. But I also want to throw out like I want to do sit down videos too, since I am like a new mom and learning. I feel like I do want to do videos about like things that I've learned and want to learn, and like product reviews for like baby stuff and yada yada yada, to help all the new mamas and just moms in general. So if y'all see me do a little bit more sit down videos, it's probably going to be like mainly like mom topics or mom content, just FYI. So this one's kind of going to be about my breastfeeding journey. It's very near to my heart. So I feel like I never really like thought deep about like breastfeeding. I feel like breastfeeding is like such a very controversial, did I say right? Controversy. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Thing nowadays, or just in general. Like people get offended when they see moms breastfeed in public or yada yada yada. First off, when you gotta feed your baby is when you gotta feed your baby. Like for me, I probably would have something like, if I had to do it in public, I would have like a, I don't want to say towel, but like a little covering. But if you don't have one, your baby needs to eat, and you can't say go to your car or find like no area, your baby has to eat, and people should not make you feel weird about it. That's just my opinion. But anywho, I'm gonna say I never saw myself like being like a mom, but I am a mom. But like I never saw myself like, oh, I had to be a mom. So I never had like a strict like, I'm gonna breastfeed, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, like, obviously I feel like we all have ideas as women, like, oh, like if I ever was one. So like for me, like I never was like, I'm gonna be a mom, so this is my set goal and to do this and this. No. But like I always had ideas. Like I know how, if I ever give birth, how I want it to be, breastfeeding, all of that. But for me, like breastfeeding was going to be like my go-to. I always felt like I probably was gonna pump more versus like to the boob. But obviously when he was like super newborn, I was gonna go to the boob. So let's start here. If you have health insurance, you can get a free breast pump. I would definitely suggest it. Any type of insurance you have, you can find different companies and things to get you a free breast pump. So I will always definitely say, if you're going to breastfeed, even if you strictly kind of want to be on the boob, still have a breast pump, because you may not be able to be there with your baby. So you always have to have extra milk. But through insurance, you should be able to get one. If you don't have insurance, I would say you can find some affordable ones, and they literally are like at like Walmart. I've seen some at Meijer. If you guys have a Meijer, that's like a type of Walmart. Amazon. Yeah, you can find some affordable ones, like $100 something. Now I ain't never really seen none lower, unless you get a hand pump. That's just a lot of work, but they're cheaper than getting the little automatic ones. But I had got, while I was pregnant, I had got one through my insurance. It was like the electrical ones, and it came with like little bra that you can just attach your little thing, like pump things to, and it was for both. And it came with like a little lantern, so you could walk around freely and do what you had to do while you were pumping. So, and then it had different suction cups for like your nipple size. Yeah, and it was free through my insurance. So my goal was to pump and then also have him to the chest. So that was my goal. During my pregnancy, people would ask me like towards the end, like, you know, are you getting any leakage? Or I'm like, no, I don't have anything. I'm like, am I supposed to? But then when I went to the doctor, she was like, oh, it's okay. Like, when you first breastfeed anyway in the hospital, you're going to, your baby's going to get something called colostrum. I think I'm saying it right. And it's like what you get before your milk actually develops. Because you technically, my doctor said like you aren't really developing milk until like 2 or 3 days or something like that. It could have been a longer time. I know 5 days tops after you give birth, like that's when your milk actually comes in. Your baby's just drinking the colostrum at first. And so she said, so you might not have leakage, like that's normal. So I was like, okay, cool. So in the hospital, after I get birth, they try to have your baby latch. Amari, we got him to latch a little bit, but he didn't really latch. But obviously I was like, you know, he don't know what he's doing because he just came out. So I wasn't like worried about it until like later on the day. Like we kept trying to get him to latch. We tried different positions. It just was not happening. So then I loved her. She was not my nurse, but she was a lactation specialist. And she came in. She was such a sweet lady. And she got my baby to latch. He was drinking. Like, that was the longest he drank because we would log how long he would latch on. And he was maybe doing like a minute before. Then when she came in and got him on my chest and actually latched on, he at least ate for like 10 minutes. Probably because he was hungry. Because I really didn't want to give him the bottle. Because also, in the hospital, they will give you bottles. So you have that option. I was just like, oh, I want to breastfeed. So I did not want to give him the bottle. But after the lady left, we could not really get him to latch. He was probably doing a minute, maybe two. And you could just tell he was hungry because he would do this little sucking, like after, like, because he was still hungry. And as soon as I gave him the bottle, my baby ate. I'm like, oh my gosh. So they brought in a machine for me, a breast pump machine, so we could see if we could, you know, get it going with a machine. But I was not getting anything. I didn't even get like an ounce. So I'm like, okay. So they gave me all these suggestions for when I went home because I was only in hospital for 2 days. So I went home. So Amari was getting bottles. And then we were still trying to get him to latch while I was at the hospital. So then we go home. And what do? Oh, they tell me that I should try to pump it was pretty frequent. I think it was like every 20 minutes, every hour. I don't know. It was just super frequent. I know I went from 20 minutes to an hour, but it was just stay between those time frames because I ain't really sure. But I know it was frequent. And they wanted me to do like 30 minutes for each boob. And I'm like, and in between that time, I was still trying to have him latch. So when I tell you, I was tired, but I'm a fighter. So I was still going about my day, all that type of stuff. And your girl was tired though, because it's very draining. Like, your baby has to eat and you want them to be able to eat. But like for yourself, like you have a way you want it to be done. But it's like, number one, your baby has to eat. He has to get his nutrition. So I'm going to say I try like the whole pumping thing. Now I will say I did not do it as often and as long as they wanted me to. Because it was just a lot, like, just because he wasn't, like, that wasn't his first form of feeding. It was the bottle. But he still would try to, like, latch on to me. It just wasn't happening. And the lady came in. I tried all her techniques, but I couldn't get him to latch myself. And so after you actually give birth, a nurse comes to your home. And she came and she tried to give me tips and it just was not working. We tried to actually do it too. And he maybe went on for maybe about 3 minutes. That was probably the next longest time. But after that, my baby was just not latching. So I'm going to say probably for about a good month, I tried to breastfeed, but I was not producing any milk. Now, one day I got an ounce of milk and I still have it to this day of milk that I produced literally my whole month of trying. And I tried the tea. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like in a pink little bag. I tried tea. I was drinking that twice a day. And I tried the cookies. Nothing was working to help produce milk for me. And that was my goal, to breastfeed my baby. But life did not work out that way. So I was like, okay, after the month, because I was kind of like getting depressed about it because I really wanted to breastfeed my baby, but it just was not happening. And I decided to pick myself because I was literally like getting sad. Like I cried because I couldn't breastfeed and I felt like it was going to it was taking a toll on me. So I was like, before I get into this deep depression about not being able to breastfeed, my baby's fine. He's getting milk. He's getting, you know, his nutrients. It's just not the way I want it. But my baby has to eat, and he likes the milk. It didn't cause him any issues. So I decided after that month to cut my losses because I was just going down a spiral because I couldn't breastfeed. So I said, hey, Janice, pick yourself. Your baby's fine. He's healthy. The milk is, settling with him. It's okay. You tried. And I've, like, since pregnancy and even after pregnancy, like, being a mom and going through pregnancy, you're going to realize, like, your plans may change at the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? Like, you may have something set this way or want something this way, but life could bring it that way. And it's okay. Because at first I'm like, I failed. Like, I was just, like, getting really, like, down on myself. But it's like, you didn't fail. Your baby is healthy. Your baby's eating. And the milk is doing well in his stomach. So I really honestly had it easy. Like, granted, I wanted to breastfeed, but that didn't work out for me. During my whole month of trying, I only got 1 ounce of milk. So we see, obviously, I was just not producing. Then I went to the doctors and she said, it doesn't happen often, but some women literally just don't really produce milk. Even after you try all the things, everybody's different. Everyone's body's different. And she said, it's okay. You tried. And we did Amari's like check, and she was like, he's doing great and he is healthy and he's gaining weight. And she said, keep doing what you're doing. She offered me other resources if I did still want to try to breastfeed because I had just recently stopped. So she's like, we still can, And I was just like, no. I said I was getting a little depressed, so I wanted to, stop that and just get back on a better track for myself. But that was my journey. I would love to hear other people's like breastfeeding journeys, like your struggles, your successes. But that was just literally my little breastfeeding story, how I tried to breastfeed my baby and it just did not work out for me. And that's okay. So if you tried to breastfeed and it didn't work out, you did not fail. You tried your hardest. And as long as your baby is fed, gaining weight, you're a great mama. So that's all I have to say on that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.